you cruising through life not always knowing what direction you were headed? Let Live on Purpose with Dr. Paul Jenkins be your guide. Live on Purpose will give you insights into your life and show you how you can become the driver and captain of it. No more aimless wandering. By learning the principles that govern happiness and wealth, you will be able to make personal progress that you have only dreamed possible. And now, here's your host, the shrink who expands your life, Dr. Paul.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Live on Purpose Radio. This is Dr. Paul, the shrink who expands your life, with another episode of Live on Purpose Radio. And I am excited and thrilled today to have a good friend in studio with me, someone who has inspired me in a couple of ways. You probably didn't even know that, did you?
I didn't.
But doing some good work. I want to introduce Dr. E.J. Raven. Say hello, E.J.
Howdy, guys. Good to be here.
Glad to have you with me.
No worries.
Now, I got to know you a while back
Mm-hmm.
through my brother, I think it was.
Correct.
And you and I did a little, I think the first time that I met you, we were both doing a little TV spot on Park City TV.
Correct. I think we had Jeff. I did a spot there, and you came up and helped us out. And then you stayed after and did a little presentation for a luncheon we put on.
At your chiropractic clinic
Correct.
in Park City.
Correct.
And so we've had a little bit of fun in the past already. And you and I have talked a couple of times, and there's some things that I think we're both on the same page related to how to help people to really take control of their life and to feel like they're living in a healthy, happy way. And just figuring out the ways to do that, because a lot of people are looking for different ways to accomplish that, health and happiness and well-being. But a lot of the things that they're finding out there in the world just don't work. Is that
Correct.
your experience as well?
Well, I tell my clients that anyone will sell you their widget or their cure-all for $1. I mean, everybody wants to make a buck, and so everybody has their book or their this or their cream or their that. And I say that even the gurus, in the end, you know what happens to them?
They all die too?
They die.
Nobody gets out of this alive.
That's right. And so the objective isn't so much to find our guru to follow, it's find the fit for us. And if we're progressing and we're making improvements in our health, I think our happiness is tied tightly to that. I mean, I offer you $1 million to give up your health. Hey, here's $1 million. Spend the rest of your days in bed. Will you take it? No way.
Yeah, feeling awful.
Yeah. There's just no way, because health is that valuable, and often because it's it seems a given. It ends up kind of being ignored and kind of pushed off to the side until all of a sudden we realize one day, hey, I'm in trouble, or hey, I've got something going on with me, and that's where pain comes in, and that's a beautiful thing about pain, and that's a little different twist on it, is that I believe pain's there to get us to change. That if I'm living a life, in a relationship that's not working a job that I don't like 40 hours a week, eating food that doesn't fit my body very well, guess what? I should be depressed. I shouldn't be happy. I should feel off, right?
You should have some level of discontent or pain.
Or pain, correct. If I have my hand on the stove, guess what? It should hurt.
Ouch, yeah. and it's a good thing that it does.
Correct, because if we listen to that, that's the beautiful thing, is it motivates. It can help us change and get back into the driver's seat and get back into, hey, where do I want to go and what do I want to do and how am I going to get there? Because I think that's one of the big secrets, is that the ability lies within. We have the ability, but we just get so sidetracked that we were off in Timbuktu before we realize it.
That's true. And just kind of chasing after whatever theory or...
Correct. How many diets exist out there? Do diets work? Someone said something about you take the T out, and what does diet stand? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a lifestyle. If it's a hey, I'm going to go see this healthcare provider for 3 visits or 1 visit or 3 weeks, and I want to change a lifestyle, it's impossible. If it's taken me years to develop something, it doesn't change overnight. If you come into an office and you have, chronic problem, and you walk out and that problem's gone, I would say that the problem wasn't fixed. The only thing that's been done is some sort of Band-Aid's been placed on it. Because if it's got chronicity, if it's got timing behind it, it will take timing to heal. It's just the way life works. There are no shortcuts.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So you and I both have people coming to our offices on a regular basis looking for a better life,
absolutely.
to feel better, to be more in control, or to get rid of some of that pain or some of that discontent that they experience in their life. And EJ, I want to make sure that that there's not a very strong distinction between physical pain and emotional pain. It's all the same to me.
I agree. Where's the disconnect? Where does your brain end and your spinal cord begin?
Mm-hmm.
And people say, well, it's all in my mind. Well, who cares? It's real.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe it, it's real. You know what I mean?
That's absolutely
Reality
right.
isn't actually what's out there. Reality is our beliefs.
All you have is your perception.
Correct. Perception creates reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so people, again, pain, I'm a wimp. I don't like pain. I really am.
You're not supposed to like it.
But I'm saying that, I'm not saying, oh, pain, good, thank you. I'm saying, hey, pain, okay, what's going on? How can I make a few changes and get back to where I need to be? I've got a warning light coming on here on the dashboard. Do I listen? And do I make some changes, or I take out some duct tape, cover it up, and cut the wire behind the light and shut it off? You know what I mean? We can look for the short fix or the quick fix, or we can say, what's going on, and let's address it and move forward.
So I want to introduce something that you shared with me just a few minutes ago that we can develop through the course of our conversation here. And that is the incredible Dr. U.
That's right.
Talk about that, will you?
So Incredible Dr. U is the best doctor in the world. Incredible Dr. U is the only doctor in the world that can really fix you, because health and healing, like happiness, come from within. When we give drugs to dead people, when I adjust dead people, when we shrink the minds of dead people, what happens?
Not much.
Nothing. They're dead.
Right.
There's no magic.
We usually don't spend our time doing that because
don't?
it's not very effective.
Oh, okay. I've cut way back, but I still enjoy it.
On working on dead people. Yeah.
No, so exactly. There's no magic outside of you and I. The magic is about finding what fits us again and allowing ourselves to learn and grow and develop. That's the purpose, is to move forward. And if we're not happy with what's going on, we either need to make some changes or just say, hey, I guess it isn't that bad, and just accept it. I wrote a little newsletter and talking about Eeyore. What does Eeyore say something about? Oh, it's, my bad luck, however Eeyore says it,
Yeah.
Either pick up the Eeyore attitude and say, well, shucks, my bad, or it's going to be this way. Or say, hey, I want something different. And just with a very small change, we can get huge outcomes. We can get huge movements. It's just one little step's all we got to start with.
And this incredible Dr. U concept has to do really with taking accountability.
Absolutely.
For your own health, for your own happiness. And it's not going to come from anywhere outside of you.
Correct. Because so if someone comes and sees me as a chiropractor and I help them feel better, unless they make some lifestyle changes or they change the cause of that original pain, guess what will be back?
Mm-hmm.
And so unless you address the driving issue, you can't really expect a different outcome. It's just kind of that yo-yo experience, up and down.
So we have this amazing emotional and physical guidance system that's just built right into us.
Absolutely.
And it starts with pain. That's the trigger.
Yeah, I would even start before pain. I think it's delayed. Pain doesn't come until we've ignored a problem for a while.
So there's indicators before the pain.
Absolutely. And if we kind of listen to our bodies, we could pick those up. But sometimes we're kind of taught that, well, when there's a problem, you go see a doctor, they fix it. So there's an initial belief system that exists that we abdicate from the get-go, our health, to some outside source. And until I would become responsible, guess what I can't change? I can't change the problem. If it's not my fault, there's nothing I can do about it. So pain is a good indicator, but people feel great and have heart attacks. People feel great and have cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes, lots of stuff. Energy is maybe a better indicator. Are you tired? You shouldn't be tired. How do you sleep? How much fun are you having in life? Those may not be quantifiable as easy, but they're real and they make a difference. I would imagine an individual long before they ever had the pains of heart issues their energy would be way off.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe their sleep's way off. Maybe they're just kind of in a funk. And it's much more powerful to begin proactive small steps forward when we first feel off than when we get driven to change because the pain gets so great. When it really hurts, I'm very motivated, but I'm in a hole by that time.
So what if we started watching those little indicator lights on the dashboard?
Yep.
Just a little more closely. And what you're saying is don't wait for the pain.
You don't wait for the big red beepy light that says your engine's now seized up.
And the smoke coming out and the flames darting out of your engine and all that stuff. Or for your brakes to seize up or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
Watch for those early indicators. So what if you were to take, listeners, take a little inventory here. And maybe a rating.
Mm-hmm.
Do a little rating. 0 to 10. How much joy do I feel in my life today?
Excellent.
And how does that compare to the last week or two? And if you're constantly just kind of trudging through life, or like you said, Dr. Raven, you're feeling tired or sluggish, you don't have that energy level, those are the indicator lights.
Absolutely.
Something's going on here.
And I think your self-assessment's the most accurate. You feel a little off. Whatever on that scale of 1 to 10, whatever you rate yourself, you're probably exactly right. And the great news is, if say you're a 7, there's 3 steps higher. There's 3 more levels of joy that you can experience.
Mm-hmm. And if you're already at a 10, well, let's make it a 20-point scale.
That's right.
Because you can always improve.
Yeah, we never hit 100%.
And, okay, so, and there's things you can do about this. We're coming up on a break here in just a minute. But that's the first step. Pay attention to the indicators in your life that something's not quite where you want it to be. I call this discontent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like that old saying that necessity is the mother of invention.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make an improvement in your life unless you first experience some level of discontent.
That's correct.
Whether it's pain or even just kind of wanting more.
Yeah, feeling a little off. Awareness is synonymous with wellness. The more aware we become of how we're doing and what we're feeling and how we're experiencing life, the more capable we are of making choices that fit us.
Mm-hmm. So people need to learn how to listen to that, to tune into it.
If that's where Incredible Dr. You lies, is it within, then I would say it's a great idea to listen.
That's like Dr. You putting on the stethoscope.
That's right, baby.
Trying to tune into what's going on inside, under the hood there.
That's right.
And there's a lot you can do about it. We're going to pick that up as we come back from this next break.
This is Kirk Weasler to tell you about morebetterbooks.com. Morebetterbooks.com is where you can find more better books for a more better life. Not only that, let me tell you about some of the very fun and cool select titles on morebetterbooks.com. You'll want to get a copy of The Dog Poop Initiative. This best-smelling book could change your life forever. It certainly changed the lives of thousands of Boeing employees, as well as school teachers, parents, leaders across the United States and in Israel and in Germany. And you can get your own copy at morebetterbooks.com. Whoa, that's not all. What about The Cookie Thief? This classic tale told in a rhyming format, fully illustrated with very fun hidden messages. Pick up a copy now today on morebetterbooks.com. Are there great titles there? Finding Your Pathway to Mastery, Beyond Illusions, Make It Great. These titles are only available on morebetterbooks.com. Go to morebetterbooks.com today and begin to have a more better life and live that life on purpose.
Thank you for joining me for the Live on Purpose radio podcast. It is truly an honor to be a part of your prosperity team. Please visit my website, drpaul.org, to get connected with other tools for you and your family. There you will find links to my weekly e-zine, Empower, Harnessing the Power of the Mind, and to the free Parental Power teleconference that I host every week with my wife, Vicki. You can also check out upcoming events or pick up powerful information products. feel free to contact me directly with questions, comments, or to book me for your company or private event. Email me through Dr. Paul at liveonpurposeradio.com. So, EJ.
Yep.
It seems to me that there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of buzz, there's a lot of things going on right now about health and wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the leading industries in the world right now. In fact, you mentioned an associate of yours, Paul Pilzer.
Good friend, Paul Zane Pilzer, yep.
Who has done some fantastic illumination of this issue. I know he's got some books out. Mm-hmm. He's very well known for his opinions about these kinds of things. And the health and wellness industry is one of those things that he has studied and talked about quite a bit. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. He's getting his book that's probably the biggest directed towards the health and wellness is The Wellness Revolution. And then he has an updated version called The New Wellness Revolution. And it talks about this industry, how it is just growing leaps and bounds, and how it encompasses much more than the gym, much more than the diets. It goes into the foods we eat and the choices we have. And it's an excellent kind of walk through and kind of overview of what's going on and where he's actually an economist, where the next $1 trillion industry of healthcare, where it's going to evolve with wellness.
And this is really where it is right now.
Absolutely.
That's where all the buzz is.
Correct.
And I'll put a link to Paul's book up on the site.
Okay.
So, folks, if you want to go to liveonpurposeradio.com, we'll have a link there for you to connect to Paul Zane Pilzer and the Wellness Revolution. The reason I thought of that, though, EJ, is because this is on the minds of so many people. You go to the grocery store, you're going to notice an enormous increase in the last couple of years, especially in natural and organic foods, in healthy supplements. There are, I don't know how many network marketing companies popping up everywhere.
Correct.
With new antioxidants or nutritional supplements or whatever it is.
Correct. All kinds of products. Almost so much that it can become intimidating. Have you ever felt that way?
A little overwhelming.
Yeah. There's so much that it's hard to even know what to try or what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best advice there might be that as a consumer, just give it a whirl. That we're just going to inch forward a little bit. If we like it, we'll continue forward. It's kind of like trying a new food or a new restaurant.
You just try it.
Yeah, if you like it, you sit down, the server seems nice, you just experience it, and if it fits you and works well, then continue moving that direction. And it's not a all or nothing. There's a balance. It's finding your fit and saying, what do if I've never tried, say chiropractic, if I've never tried any alternative healthcare, maybe this is a time, especially if I've done a lot of traditional or mainstream care and I'm not getting the results I want.
You still have that pain.
Correct. You still have whatever it is that you want to move forward through. And so it's a little step produces results across the board even. Because like we were talking about the nervous system, or where does, is it mental, is it physical, where does the brain stop and the spinal cord begin? It's I see a small change in my eating habits. Guess what happens to my energy? It goes up. I improve my food, I improve my energy. Guess what happens to my desire to get out and move and be active? It improves. Guess what happens to my mental state? It improves. Guess what happens to my relationships, my social, so it's also interconnected. It's really not parts and pieces. It's not a specialist for this or a specialist for that. It's how do we find a balance? Because the more balanced we are, the more able we are to do what we're designed to do. And we were designed to be healthy. We were designed to live beautiful lives.
And even though we can't really pick it apart meaningfully, you can't say, well, this is my relationships, and this is my financial life, and this is my health. It's all part of a greater picture, which is your life.
Well-being.
But there do tend to be areas of focus where you can work on these things. You were talking about the
Yeah.
wheels or the spokes on a wheel.
Yeah, I use a little self-assessment tool in my office. It's called the Wellness Wheel. And what it does is it allows an individual to kind of fill this out and show the balance in an individual's life. And the 7 spokes, I'm trying to list off the ones I can remember. There's a physical spoke, there's a social spoke, a career spoke, a spiritual spoke, I think a financial spoke. Anyways, these 7 areas, as we fill it out, you progress away from the hub. And if you score, a 5, a 7, a 9, and a 3, that 3 area is the restricting area. It's the out of balance part of your wheel. Wheels don't roll very well down the road when they're out of balance. And if we could move that 3 forward, all of a sudden all the areas expand, and we can start to create more of a balance, more of an ease. Life flows easier when we're at that balance. And I don't know if we ever fully achieve, like you say, that 100% balance. It's more like a work in progress. Some days are fantastic. Some days are a little scraggly. Might have a flat tire.
That's right.
Fix her and move on.
Might get a little overinflated on one side.
That's right. That's what our spouses are for.
Yeah. Give you some good feedback.
Well,
right?
let some of that overinflation out.
Yeah. Well, okay. So in this world where health and wellness has become such a popular topic and there's so much available, almost to the point where it's overwhelming, if you can just identify and listen to yourself, listen to your body, pay attention to how you're feeling, and as you encounter options or resources, some of them are going to really click with you, and others just aren't. And that's significant, I think.
Absolutely.
How
How
many
times in life have you just not really felt great about something and just thought, I just don't know that's the right fit for me, and you went ahead with it anyways and had a great outcome? I think I always have a terrible outcome when I do that. I don't feel right. It doesn't seem like it's going to work. I don't think it's a good choice, but sign me up.
Well, and at the same time, here you are trying to force something that you're not naturally inclined to do. And so it's going to be an uphill battle if that's the case.
Correct. How long is it going to last? Correct.
And you might persist at it because your brother or your aunt or someone said, oh, yeah, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be the answer for you. But it just doesn't work out that well if you're not listening to yourself and pay attention to what it is that you're drawn to. I think there's reasons why you're drawn to certain things or people or opportunities.
I think it can go just as simple as you're walking to the grocery store. Pregnant ladies do this all the time. They see something that looks good, pick it up, throw it in the cart. I think your body needs something in there. It craves, that watermelon has a nutrient in it your body needs. And so if we start to listen, it can not only help us when we're picking out what to eat, it can help us when we're making life decisions. There are these ideas when you said we need to look for options and make a choice. I think it's no longer hope options are presented. We need to actively pursue. What are the options? Doc, tell me what my options are. I don't necessarily want you to interpret and tell me what it means. I want you to give me information. I want you to educate me about what's going on and why and how, and give me all the information you can, and then tell me what options you know exist. And if none of those options seem like a great fit, we start to look elsewhere. And we continue to look until we find a fit, because if it doesn't feel right, I don't think it is right.
Education. We live in the information age.
Absolutely.
And it's available and at your fingertips. And with the click of a mouse, you can have a world of information. It still has to be, like you were saying, don't interpret it for me. Just give me the information, give me the data, give me the facts. And then you will interpret that information. And that can be overwhelming too.
I know, but you have to be that way.
Just start. Just do something.
You want to hear a little story about my start in the healthcare world?
Yeah, let's hear.
So going through school, my wife and I had our first Kyle, and he had a little, not a little cold. He was pretty sick. We wouldn't normally go to the doctor for just a little cold. But he's quite sick, so we said, well, let's go take him looked at. So we go to a doctor that we already trust and have a pretty good relationship with, and he gives us some more information. But one of the things is they wanted to perform a procedure. It's like, it seems a little repetitive. They wanted, instead of just taking an oral or a under-the-arm temperature, they wanted to do a rectal temperature. I'm like, okay. It doesn't seem like it needs to be done. But so I hold my little guy down and take this temperature, and I was bent out of shape. And I said, never again will a doctor perform anything on my kids or myself that I don't think is necessary. Why would they hold someone down and make them cry to do that? That was ridiculous. And so that was kind of a pivotal moment for me, in that as a parent, we have to become good consumers. Because if we go to a healthcare provider and we make it, we choose something, who lives with the consequences? If the outcomes are great, we do. If the outcomes are terrible, we still live with them. And so if it doesn't seem to fit, I'm very straightforward with doctors and say, no, thank you. That won't happen. Every time we take our child to the pediatrician tries to prescribe medication. That's what they do for a living. Every time I say, if we wait a week, what will happen? Could we wait 2? Can we just watch and see what happens? Because we give it 24 hours.
Yeah,
and,
give me the information.
Yeah, and almost every time, you can wait and just see. And our child starts to improve, and they're, symptoms clear up.
There's some other things you can do to help them along.
Correct. And then it feels better because we didn't default in. We kind of said, okay, we're doing what fits us.
So, EJ, it's not that you don't listen to or take the opinion of your healthcare professional seriously. It's that you listen to yourself, too.
Much more so than the healthcare provider that you spend 15 minutes a year with. Or maybe you spend a lot more time than that with them, but it's not their problem. They don't deal with the outcomes. It's your thing. It's your baby. It's your problem. I sometimes will tell people, my back feels great. I'm sorry you hurt, but it's not my problem. I'm here to help you move forward, but I didn't cause it.
How can I help you with your issue?
Correct.
EJ, one of the first things I tell my clients when they sign up and they come in and do some counseling or some sessions with me is that they are free to fire me at will.
That's right.
And that's important for them to know. They need to know I'm working for them.
That's right.
As a psychologist, not the other way around. They're not here to do what I want them to do. That is completely irrelevant.
As any healthcare provider, I tell individuals in my office, there's zero loyalty when it comes to healthcare providers. If you don't like it, next. Because it's your dollars and your in essence,
life.
It's your life, your health. And if that individual without you goes out of business. So that you're not there for them. They're there for you.
And they better darn well do a good job for you.
Or next.
And you know what? I so appreciate this client who just last week, 2 weeks ago, she called me up and she says, Doc, I'm going to cancel the rest of my sessions. Can I get a refund on what I paid you? And I said, well, help me to understand what's going on. Well, she came in and helped me to understand that I was going a different direction than what she wanted. We were able to make an adjustment, and because she took responsibility, she's having a great experience now.
Good work.
That's fantastic. We'll be right back.
I've got a great idea.
This is Shay Larson, IdeaOrbit.com, with the World of Ideas Report.
Have you ever ordered a t-shirt with a funny saying that was screen printed on the front? This simple process is now turning millions for one California woman who has the fashion world going gaga. In her own words, Leanne Ford describes the moment the idea came to her. I was on a walk, she says, and I had this idea. There were all these cool parents out there, but there weren't a lot of cool baby clothes. She started thinking about how old vintage t-shirts with funny sayings on them were always a hit with adults, but babies are stuck with the same old blue and pink outfits with bunnies and duckies on them. So Leanne ventured forth with her idea and started making a clothing line for babies called Punkster. Picture some of these punk baby sayings on a little one that you know. I crawl the line, or I pooed as opposed to iPod. Or how about remember the little people, or she's with me. These funny little shirts are not just a new flair of attitude, they have taken the world by storm. Within months, celebrities such as Keith Urban, Emmylou Harris, Sarah Evans, Nicole Kidman, and Sheryl Crow have all made their purchases. The simple, funny baby tees are now in over 200 retail stores, including Barney's New York and FAO Schwartz. People's Magazine, Parent Magazine, and many others have caught on the buzz and helped promote punksters into a huge idea for little people.
This is Shay Larson, IdeaOrbit.com, with the World of Ideas Report.
I've got a great idea. Wouldn't you like to know? You probably can't bear it, so I guess I'll have to share it. I thought of it a moment ago.
Leaders must be close enough to relate to others, but far enough ahead to motivate them. John Maxwell.
Things that I often teach my clients or talk to them about, we have discussions all the time about how they're going to create and live the life that they love. And there's a process, there's an absolutely predictable process that people can go through to create the life that they love. And it always starts with discontent. Because why would you create anything unless there's some...
If you're happy, you don't change.
Yeah, there's no reason to do anything.
That's right.
So it's okay to have that.
It is. It's okay to have pain, because in the pain lies the opportunity. Lies something new and different. Saying, this is going to get me someplace that I wouldn't get to otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's a little different way of looking at it, but I absolutely agree that the discontent, the pain, that something's a little off is really a great blessing.
So that's the common element in every process of creation. You look at the great minds in this world who have invented all the wonderful stuff, and they did it because somebody needed it or because they were not satisfied with the way things were. And so they took those steps and they created something wonderful. Well, in this process, right after the discontent comes a crossroads. It's a choice. It's always the same choice. Have you noticed this too? When you have the pain in your life, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, either ignore it and continue doing what you've done, or do something new and different. Venture out and see if you can't get a new outcome.
And to ignore it, that's the victim route. That's saying, I can't help it. There's nothing I can do. It's not my fault.
Genetics. It's my grandparents and
just
parents.
The way I am, or the way the world is.
That's right. And there's a lot of money to be had in health. If I can convince you it's not your fault, just take this drug for the rest of your life, there's a lot of money to be had. But genes are genes and life is life. So what? You know what I mean? You can't do anything about your genetics. So you take what you've got and you move forward. Numbers vary, but 75% of your health is lifestyle. 25 is genetics. Why would we focus on the 25 we can't do anything about? Let's focus on the 75. And that's not even true. We can't do anything about the genetics. We got the 75% lifestyle, and lifestyle drives a lot of the expression of genes. They have identical twins, same genes. One will express an issue, the other one won't. There's a lot of how we live and how we think influences how our body reproduces itself, how the cells grow, and what shows up and what doesn't.
Now, I've been teaching people this for years in psychology, but you're coming at it from a background in chiropractic. You're a physician, a person who works primarily with, well, I see, and I don't even know that that's accurate. I was going to say primarily with physical body. You know, someone comes in, you do a physical adjustment with them, but then you try to teach them principles that tie the mind and the body and your life and your thoughts and everything. It's all one big package.
Correct.
And you ignore the thinking, and you can't really help the physical body. Correct. At least not long term.
Correct, because there is no disconnect.
That's right.
The thoughts are things. They're real. I was riding my mountain bike this morning, zipping along the trail, having a great time. You start to think, oh my criminy, this is ugly. If I go down, I'm clipped in. I'm going to be bug meat. But that's not what we think. We think, man, I'm here to ride. I'm here to enjoy the ride. I'm heading into those trees.
This is awesome.
This is fantastic. I don't crash. I'm a rider. I'm not a crasher.
That's right.
And so, but if we think, oh, watch out for the tree, guess what we're going to meet? Mr. Tree.
You're going to bring it right on, aren't you?
That's right, because it's the real deal.
Well, where's your focus? Where's your mind? Where are your thoughts? What is it that you're purchasing with your mental currency? You know, you can spend time, you can spend money, and you can spend thoughts.
And you know what the most valuable those things are? Is, you know what I mean? Money comes and goes, right? You can borrow money. You don't have to own it. You can borrow it and have billions or millions or whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But the time and the thoughts, those are real power, because the thoughts influence how the time's spent, and the time, once it's gone, it's gone. And so the bigger, stronger factors, I think, are our beliefs, our expectations, are the patterns that we've gotten ourselves into of thinking.
That's right.
You can't have the stinking thinking and get a beautiful experience from it.
What can you buy with your thoughts? You know, and it's important to realize it's just like money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go to the store, you can buy anything you want with money. But isn't it also true you can buy anything you don't want with that money? What if you picked up something you really didn't want at the grocery store? Couldn't you still go buy it?
Absolutely.
You really could. And people don't realize they're doing this with their thoughts all the time. You know, and they're focusing on, oh, you know what, the tree, I'm going to crash. I'm in debt. My relationship
swine flu, my bad back, my bad this, my grandma passed along to me this, my high cholesterol.
And then they wonder why their shopping cart of life is full of all this stuff.
Junk.
Well, that's what they've been buying with their thoughts.
That's right.
You buy the other stuff.
That's right. The difference between an Olympic athlete who takes gold and has a Wheaties box and makes millions, and the Olympic athlete who competes but is never heard of again is only a second. Is only a couple seconds.
Fraction of a second.
A fraction of a second. The difference between a beautiful life and a scraggly life isn't that big of a difference. It's not this huge. You still go through the motions of living, and you do so many of the same things. It's just that little tiny bit of shift, that little tiny gap. I tell this to people in my office often that, you know, for example, I was working with a realtor the other day. The realtor, I said, hey, the spiel goes the same, right? At the end of the spiel, if people shake their head yes, that means you've made money. If people shake their head no, that means you just wasted your time. Right? the whole spiel is the same. 99.9% of the experience is the same. It's only that last little yes or no. Life. 99% of it is fantastic. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is one little degree. That difference between water and boiling water. 1 degree.
1 degree.
1 step. And if we can just bump it one little step, a whole nother world opens. We got
That's
all
right.
kinds of opportunity that we never even knew existed. You learn a new word, all of a sudden everybody's using that word, right? You get a new thought, all of a sudden there's a whole new experience available to you.
And it's all there. It's been there all along. It's just whether you're tuning into it. It's just like that example that we've talked about before about a radio. And you can tune in that radio to whatever frequency you choose. So we might pull it out here on the table, EJ, and we could have classical music filling this room in just a moment. Or we could have rock and roll. Or we could have country. Or we could have whatever we tune into. Well, the radio doesn't go out and find the music. It's already here. It's there. You just got to get on that frequency. And this is what your thoughts will do for you. It'll put you on a frequency of health and wellness and prosperity and happiness. It's there. It's in your life. Tune into it.
Absolutely.
Get the frequency.
Just turn that little knob a little tiny bit, and you can have a whole new station.
So I pulled a book off the shelf.
What'd you grab for us?
It's The Impossible Just Takes a Little Longer by Mr. Art Berg. And Art passed away a few years ago, but you can see on the cover of this book, EJ, that he's in a wheelchair.
Yep.
A powerful motivational speaker and author. And I love that title, The Impossible Just Takes a Little Longer. Here he is paralyzed and doing phenomenal things. And it took him a little longer to get there just because of some of the context. You know, we talk about your genes, for example. things you can't change necessarily. Okay, he couldn't change the fact that he was paralyzed. But what's he going to do about this now?
Correct.
And his focus was phenomenal. I read a comment that he posted once, or that someone quoted him in a talk as saying, you know what, one of the great things about being paraplegic? And I'm thinking, what? There's great things about this? And this is, I think, an eternal truth, that there's upsides and downsides to everything. Absolutely everything.
Correct. The balance and the counterbalance.
And then he went on to say, well, it only takes me about half as long at the gym. He frees up all that time because he's just got to work part of his body.
Top half.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting is I don't know Mr. Art, but my guess is without his paralysis, he wouldn't have done the amazing things he did in his life. That without that seeming handicap and that seeming bad lot or short stick in life, he wouldn't have made the fantastic and done the fantastic and helped the wonderful people he did. And so...
Well, this is the power to inspire. And really, it's the adversity and the difficulties in your life that give you the power to inspire. I can't think of a single inspiring story that doesn't have a hard part in the middle. And you think about it, the people who truly inspire you, they do it because of their adversity. And sometimes we'll say in spite of the adversity, but really it's because of it. They don't have the power to inspire you without it. Interesting concept.
Yeah. 2 years ago, we hiked Mount Nebo here, which is 12,000 feet, the highest point in the Wasatch Range. And I hiked it with my mom and sister. My mom's, I think, 68 at the time. Not in fantastic shape, but we made it. She made it all with the last quarter mile, which is the Shayley kind of scramble up to the summit. But she made it. And with standing on that mountain looking down, spectacular views, but without the valleys, the mountains don't exist. Without the lows in our life, we don't get to climb to the highs. And so the lows are a great opportunity to say, wow, look what's ahead. There's people come in the office, we do an assessment, and I show them all this stuff that's going on, and sometimes they can be a little shocked. And I say, hey, there's nothing. The beautiful thing about this is look how much can improve. Look how far you can move forward.
Yeah. That's an opportunity.
That's right.
That's what it is. You know, that's what a powerful concept, folks. If you can really start to look differently at the life that you have and quit telling yourself that this is a bad life or a hard life or however you've been naming it. And what if you could turn that around a little bit to a life of opportunity, to a life that gives you the power to inspire other people as you take on the challenges that you have. That's good stuff. And then you can create and live that life that you love.
That's incredible, Dr. Yu, doing what you were designed to do.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And you are uniquely designed to do it. There's a reason why you have your package. And so to accept that. Accept that and bring the people into your life that will help you to really capitalize on all of that incredible stuff that you've already got in your package.
Absolutely.
We've got just a few more minutes after this break. We'll have a little bit more fun when we come right back. If the pile of books you want to read is growing faster than the pile you have read, then Abundant Reading Systems can help you. After taking Abundant Reading Systems course, I dramatically increased my ability to expand my knowledge in a much more efficient way.
My fastest test today was in 7,000 words per minute. I highly recommend this program from what I've seen it do for other people who've been through the entire program and from what I've seen in myself today.
I've teamed up with Abundant Reading Systems to offer a single-day intensive speed reading workshop that will at least double your reading speed, guaranteed.
This belief started to grow inside of me that I thought, I can really do this. I can read, as fast as I let myself read. And ended up doubling my speed reading time, which was really good.
This is David Hinton, founder of Abundant Reading Systems. I want to personally invite you to join us for our next event. Visit AbundantReadingSystems.com now. Abundant Reading Systems, reading at the speed of imagination.
Raising kids is one of the most challenging and rewarding experiences we can have in life. Your children didn't come with an owner's manual, so it's up to you to learn whatever will assist you in your role as a mom or a dad. Join me and my husband, Dr. Paul, for a free weekly discussion about all of the hot topics in parenting. Listen to what others are saying about these calls.
By applying the things I've learned through the Parental Power calls, I'm finally becoming the mom I always thought I would be.
I really like to use Parental Power as kind of like a reference book. So as I have concerns with my parenting, I like to be able to look up on the blog and then listen to whatever podcast seems closely related. So I like the variety of topics, the variety of age groups that are addressed.
I'm on the Parental Power calls as often as I possibly can because I know I'm going to come away with something I can apply to being a parent that very day.
Let us join your parenting team through Parental Power. Just send an email to Dr. Paul at liveonpurposeradio.com to register for the live calls. Or just check us out first through the link at drpaul.org. All of the previous calls are posted on our blog site, where you can also add your own input. Let's team up to start parenting on purpose. You know what, EJ?
What?
There's a lot of things that are similar about you and me.
Uh-huh.
Besides a little bit of red hair.
Mm-hmm. Both good-looking sons of guns.
Oh, we are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we should really do video casting.
Something. I think so. I think so.
Well, folks, you can check the pictures on the website if you want to. You have your own opinion. I'm a psychologist. You're a chiropractor. So neither of us are real doctors.
Nope.
Have you ever heard that before?
Yep, I love it.
I do too. Because I don't necessarily like the staunch Western medicine approach. You know, the specialist approach, the mechanic approach.
Mm-hmm.
And there, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really great doctors out there doing some really good work. But how important is this to really have a firm understanding that you're the one in charge? It's not the doc. It's not the medical profession. You're the one who's in charge of you.
The only reason you'd want to have that belief system in place is if you want a fantastic experience. The United States spends the most per person on healthcare in the world, around $8,000 per person. We rank 37th in the world for number of healthy years lived, according to the World Health Organization.
Is that right?
If you're down with 37th place, stick the course. Go see your traditional healthcare provider, take the drugs, and then enjoy it. If you're not okay with 37th, then you need to step up and say, hey, this is my thing and I want to experience it in the most beautiful way possible. And that's going to mean I'm going to allow myself change. Rather than the traditional patterns that I've lived my life in, I'm going to allow for something new and different, because in the new and different are these wonderful opportunities, are the new and different experiences that I haven't even, got to try to this point.
Well, could you share with us just a little bit about what chiropractic is?
Sure.
I know most of our listeners are going to be familiar with that, but just give us your take on it.
So the neat thing about chiropractic is there's a broad spectrum of chiropractors. It's not as structured as mainstream medicine. As far as you go see a medical doctor, this is done. It's very structured. Chiropractic can be from A to Z. I practice more on the Z end, and my style of chiropractic isn't, I'm going to look at you as a doctor and I'm going to diagnose you with the problem and I'm going to treat you for the problem. Some chiropractors do that, and that's great. My style is health and healing come from within. I want to know what's going on with you, but I don't really care what's wrong. I'm more interested in what's right. I want to find the areas that things are working beautifully, and we're going to repeat and reproduce and expand those areas and get you back in the driver's seat. Your health is too valuable. You're too fantastic to settle for anything less than 100%. And so chiropractic in my office is about empowering you and educating you and giving you information about what's going on and what you can do and how you can address things and move to the next level. It entails a lot of coaching. It entails a lot of, hey, this can be done. I know it can be done. I've seen it done before. Let me show you how it was done. And giving people the resources that they can begin to make movement forward, make movement in a new direction, and get a new and different outcome.
So really, it's not some of the old typical stereotypes where, you go in and you get cracked and crunched and then you got to go do that again. It's really an understanding of your own health and your own wellness, and that comes from within. You can't deliver that in your office, EJ, any more than I can in mine.
Correct. We're just there to create some awareness and to create this experience that, wow, maybe there can be more. I feel like sometimes my job is to stand there and hold that door open until your belief system gets big enough and great enough that you say, I can do it. And you step through the door to the next spot, to the next level. My style of adjusting, I don't necessarily like to be cracked and popped. I'm a chiropractor. I don't like my neck twisted. And so I don't do that in my office. And you can find chiropractors out there who don't do that. If you think it's the best thing in the world, you should see a chiropractor who does that. If you don't think it's the best thing, don't use them. It's finding your fit. It's about creating this relationship with your healthcare providers that you love. We don't deal with mediocre or pretty darn good. We deal with fantastic when it comes to healthcare providers. And if they're not fantastic, they should get the boot. It's our money, it's our health, it's our experience, and we only want the best. This isn't... We talked about auto mechanics off air for a second.
Yeah.
A mediocre auto mechanic we could live with, because our car, it's going to be gone in 10 years. Our health is too valuable, and the consequences are too real and too lasting to choose anything but fantastic. And so, again, as a consumer, I encourage you to say, what do I want, and go find it. If you keep looking, eventually you'll find what you're after. Keep asking questions. Keep, being a good consumer, saying, well, what else is out there? What else would you recommend? Doc, what choices have you seen? Is there anything else? Google, tell me what's out there, and you can find great things.
And if it doesn't feel quite right to you, there's probably some reasons for that.
Well, the reason is you're going to have a terrible experience. Because every time I do something that doesn't feel right, it's a flop.
Now, sometimes you have to face your fears. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to push yourself a little bit. That's different.
It is. Fear is different
not what we're talking about.
than correct. Because we can be afraid and still feel okay and move forward.
Some of my greatest experiences, EJ, I felt some fear or some trepidation because I knew I was stretching myself, but I was also just energized by the possibility, and I knew I was going the right direction.
And that's okay. In our minds, we'll always have questions, right? Our minds have all these stories and blah, 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 and it's hard to get the clean information there. But in our hearts, we know what's right. And if we make that choice and it says, hey, it feels right, I don't understand it completely, but it feels right, I would put much more emphasis on how we feel about it and what our gut says than what our minds try and figure out and bring together, because it's difficult to work through all that.
That's right.
You know that.
I've noticed. EJ, it's been a pleasure to have you
it's
at
wonderful
Live
to
on
be here.
Purpose Radio today. I would love to give people an opportunity to get connected with you, with your practice, with your thoughts. What's the best way for people to connect with you?
We have lots of ways. We run 2 offices, one in Park City and one in Heber City, Utah. Probably the easiest way is through IncredibleDrU.com, IncredibleDrYOU.com.
IncredibleDrU.com.
Yeah, and
I like it.
I like it too. And I'm more than happy to answer questions. I'm more than happy to provide information and be a resource, because I recognize as a healthcare consumer myself, it can be tough. It can be intimidating. It can be a little scary.
For sure.
But we find people, we put those people on our team, and we can move forward, and we can accomplish things that we don't even know exist right now.
So there's a way for them to contact you directly through the website.
Yep. The office number, you can catch us at 435-655-7789. But the website will give you all those numbers and all that information as well.
Oh, that's there. IncredibleDrU.com. EJ, it's been a pleasure to have you here at Live on Purpose Radio today. I want to give you the last word as we close out.
Okay. Since we're addressing Incredible Dr. U out there listening, I just want you to know that, one, you can do it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people come in the office and they're not certain, and that's okay, because I am certain that they can do it. And we're going to give them encouragement and inspire them with stories and help them feel better, and step by step, until pretty soon they say, you know what, I think I can, and they do it. Thank you.
You can do it too. Go out there and live on purpose. Thanks, everybody.